Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about how to change your identity to attract more money. If you've been struggling with making more money, holding more money, not wanting to spend all the money that you make, or you feel like you're stuck in a loop of not quite making the money that you want to, I can almost guarantee you that the missing piece to that is your identity and who you're being in attracting the money that you desire. Think about it this way. Money is actually a byproduct of who you're being, which means that the result that you create in your life, if that's money, wealth, success, fame, whatever that might be, is actually just based on who you are being and the energy that you're putting out into the world, why you are the way you are. And this is something that I also want to really clarify, like just because you are the way that you are right now doesn't mean you can't change. The thing that really upsets me is when people tell me that they are just the way that they are. They are someone that, they just come too late, they're a perfectionist, they're this and that and that. All of these are labels that we can remove if we choose to. Everything is a choice. You can choose to remove these labels. If you tell yourself or the world that you are just the way that you are because of X, Y, and Z, you're not only labeling yourself, but you're staying stagnant in the growth that you can achieve in this world. Because I can guarantee you that the people who are famous, successful, who make the money that they want to, one thing that they have in common is that they were willing to transform and change over and over and over again. They didn't stay stuck in their old labels. They didn't stay stuck in their old identity, but they chose to move beyond that. They chose to look at who they are now, realizing that who they are now is not serving them, changing them, and letting go of these labels that are keeping them stuck. When we go to look at what identity really is and why we are the way that we are today, it's an accumulation of all of our past experiences, if good or bad, that have formed certain beliefs about ourselves and the world and the things that we believe in, the things that we believe to be true about ourselves, but also, again, as I said, the world. And so these beliefs are often running in the subconscious mind, which means that the identity that we have within us is ingrained based on our past, but that doesn't mean that we can't change it. The best way to look at it is ask yourself, what are the current results that you have in your life, either good or bad, or maybe the results that you don't want to have, and knowing that you are a match to that. What does it say about the identity that you have about yourself? The biggest block that I used to experience was, and I remember having this conversation with my partner, was feeling like I wanted something so much on a conscious level, and no matter how hard I worked, no matter how much effort I put into it, no matter what I did, I wasn't achieving that goal. And I had to ask myself, well, there is something happening on a deeper level that I am not aware of yet. And so I had to take a step back and not just operate from my conscious mind, which is taking the action. Affirmations are also only working on the conscious mind if you're not doing it correctly. There is a lot of things in the world, mindset tips and all of that, that is operating mainly on a conscious level. Now, can you change your life operating from a conscious level? Yes, to a certain extent you can, but eventually you will find a cap, right? Eventually you will find yourself feeling blocked in the amount of money or the amount of success or the amount of fame, whatever it is that you desire, that you want to attract into your life. On a conscious level, you might want certain things, but if your subconscious mind is like, yeah, but that's dangerous, or that's new, or that's unfamiliar, it will still find ways to keep you stuck in the familiar hell instead of allowing you to go into the unfamiliar heaven. And so what we got to do is become very honest with ourselves and ask ourselves again, if I know that my current results are literally a mirror of my identity, because that is the truth, your current results are a mirror of your identity. What does it say about me? Not only on a conscious level, but on a subconscious level. Let's take the money example. On a conscious level, I desire to make $50,000 a month, right? This is just an example. This could be someone else's dream. I desire to make $50,000 a month. Now, I am making five, as an example, right? And I'm making $5,000 a month and I am a match to the $5,000. Okay, so I don't only look at my habits, but I look at the beliefs behind my habits. So why am I doing certain things instead of just looking at what I need to do differently? And this is where a lot of people get mixed up because they're focusing more on what do I need to do rather than asking themselves, why am I doing what I'm doing? So for example, if you want to make $50,000 months, but you're making $5,000 months right now, and you know that you're a match to this, ask yourself, well, what are my habits around money at this moment? Are you paying your bills on time? Are you neglecting if a bill is coming into your inbox and maybe you pay it last minute? Are you actually getting anxiety when you see a bill pop up into your inbox? Do you feel like there is never enough? Are you investing in yourself? Are you spending money on yourself? Really, what is your habits around money? And then ask yourself, why am I doing this? If I am avoiding bills, or if I get anxiety when I see a bill in my inbox, does it mean that I feel like there's not enough money circulating? I don't know where the next money is gonna come from. I'm scared to spend money because I feel like I'm gonna land on the street. Ask yourself the deeper belief behind your habit, because habits don't change just by you changing the habit. Habits change because the beliefs behind the habits change. And again, this is why there's a lot of books around habits and changing habits, and I'm not saying that they don't work, but in my experience, a habit sticks so much better when you actually change the underlying belief that is connected to why you do a certain thing. Because why you do a certain thing is also then connected to your identity and your beliefs around who you think you are, what you think you can achieve, and what you think you deserve in this world. Now, another way to ask yourself what your current identity is to ask yourself, what would I lose if life were to become easy? A lot of us identify ourselves with struggle. We think the only way to make more money, the only way to have success, the only way to X, Y, and Z is when we're struggling, when we are working extra hard, when we are burned out, when we are busy all the time, when we're neglecting our free time, when we do certain things a certain way. And so we identify ourselves with struggle. And when life gets easy, it feels like something's off. If all of a sudden, and this is what happened to me, I would attract money in an easy way and I felt guilty and I felt like something was wrong because I should be working harder. I should be doing more. And so in order for me to compensate with that feeling of guilt, I would end up working more despite me actually making the money that I wanted. And so I had to look at why was I doing this, but also what am I scared of? Will I lose if life gets to be easy? Because that is what you identify yourself with. Either it's the struggle, either you're scared that that your family are going to reject you, or that all of a sudden you lose your sense of purpose because you identify with everything being hard or having to be hard in your life. So alone that question is going to help you understand the underlying block and why you keep repeating the same unwanted results over and over and over again. Now, another way to look at your identity, understand your identity, and shift your identity is this principle of reverse engineering back to asking yourself, if I have this certain goal, what do I need to believe? What do I need to think? What do I need to feel? What do I need to do in order for me to reach this goal? Because based on what I was saying before, if you are a mirror to the results that you're having right now, that means that who you're being needs to change if you want different results. So when you, for example, say you want $50,000 months, how do I need to think as the person that makes $50,000 months? What do I need to feel as the person that makes $50,000 months? How do I need to show up as the person that makes $50,000 months, right? So reverse engineering back is another way that helps shifting your identity, because then every day you ask yourself, well, if I already were to make $50,000 months, would I take better care of my body? Would I write that marketing email? Would I be bolder? Would I ask for more money? Would I charge more? Like, alone asking yourself that question shows you how you're limiting yourself in your current identity, and it allows you to see that there is so much more room to stretch yourself. Will it feel uncomfortable? Probably yes, because your nervous system is gonna come in and it's gonna tell you, hey, this is not safe. We've not done it like this before, and that's where you got to recognize, like, okay, my nervous system is trying to keep me safe. It's trying to keep me small. I recognize this is what my nervous system is communicating with me, but I move regardless. Because when you move regardless, changing your beliefs behind the change of identity, eventually your nervous system is going to catch up and it's going to see, hey, this works. I'm safe. I can show up more, and all of a sudden I'm making more money. And you're creating this positive proof where your nervous system starts to shift from believing it is not safe in this new environment that you're creating to seeing the proof that it is safe because it is creating the results that you desire. Now, the other thing that I want to say when it comes to shifting your identity in order for you to make the money that you want to is to make sure that the identity that you want to step into is not too big of a gap from your current identity. And this is something that I wish I would have learned when I was doing the manifestation work. When I was starting the law of attraction manifestation work, when I started that, I was told to go with a huge goal in mind and to start with a huge goal in mind, which to me back then was $1 million, right? That to me felt very far away from the money that I was making. I worked every day on attracting the $1 million. But it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. And years were passing by. And eventually what would happen is I couldn't even connect with the $1 million Jess anymore because it felt way too far away from the current version I was being. And this is also what happens when you feel like you want to visualize your dream life, but you're visualizing yourself and it feels too far away and you're having a hard time connecting with that vision. It means that the stretch is too much. And you got to reduce the stretch of who you are right now and who you want to be. So instead of me visualizing $1 million, it would be $100,000, which felt still like a stretch and very far away, but a lot more realistic. And I could feel into the emotion of imagining how it would be like to make that money. Because when it comes to manifestation and changing your identity, the feeling is extremely important. You got to connect with the feeling of how it would feel like or how it would be like to already having achieved that goal or having achieved the thing that you desire. And so if you're having a hard time feeling actually how it would feel like to have $1 million, it means it's too far off. It's too far away for you at this moment, which is fine. One day it won't be, but at this moment it is. Because the bigger the gap, the harder it will be for you to manifest the very thing that you want, the harder it will be for you to believe that it's possible for you. So making that gap a little bit smaller and then asking yourself, can I feel now, if I close the gap a little bit, can I feel more like it is possible for me? And if the answer is yes, that's the goal you want to go with. It still should be a stretch goal. You don't have to necessarily know how to achieve it, but that feeling alone is going to create the motion that you are going to enter in order for you to create the results that you want to. And then lastly, and this is a pretty big thing, when it comes to quantum leaping, I talk about this here and there on my channel. Quantum leaping means that you all of a sudden create a huge new result in your life, going from, let's say, 0 to 100K in a month, right? That is a quantum leap financially. It can be, you can have quantum leaps in really any area of your life. But quantum leaping is only going to happen if you do something differently. If you do the same thing over and over and over again, you will get the same results over and over and over again, right? This is a quote by Albert Einstein, that you can't do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. Like, you have to change the things that you're doing. And so if we notice, we know that the things that we do are connected to our identity. So in order for us to do things differently, we have to change who we're being drastically. So in order for you to have a big income leap or a big income jump or make more money than you were making before, you have to ask yourself truly and honestly, well, who do I need to be to change what I'm doing right now? Because obviously, if you've been doing the same thing over and over again, let's say for a year, and nothing has really shifted yet, it might be because something needs to change in the things that you're doing, or you need to do something very differently that you've done before. So ask yourself, okay, if I know my identity needs to change, how does my identity need to change? How do I need to show up differently? And what is that one thing that I could do differently today that would lead me to a bigger, more amazing goal that I aspire to attract? So yeah, I'm just looking at my notes, but I think this is all the things that I wanted to share with you guys. Now, I will be doing a free masterclass on stepping into your wealth identity, where I will teach you even more on what identity means and how to be able to really embody this new version of yourself to attract more money or more success or more whatever it is that you want, because ultimately money is energy. It's like everything else that you want to attract. So if you're interested in joining the masterclass, the link is right down below here. I would love to see you there. As I said, it's free, it's 2 days, and it's going to be incredible. It will be filled with a lot of value, and I will be able to go even deeper into these topics and of course engage with you too, which is not always possible here on YouTube in real time, right? Unless I go live, of course, but this is a recorded video. That's why come to the masterclass and I will be able to engage with you in a live session as well, which is going to allow us to see results in real time. So let me know if you will be there. Let me know how you like this video, if it was useful. And if you like this type of content, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I'm sending you so much love, and until the next time, bye-bye.